Okay. Here we are. We have in front of us a custom Sudoku puzzle with 0 given digits. This is brought to me by David, aka Gordian Tangle. This was made by Star Waragami, with whom David has collaborated to create a few of these custom Sudoku puzzles in the past. The idea is numbers along the thermometer are increasing away from the number in the bulb. So this number, it's at the bottom of the bulb. So for a thermometer, it would be like the lowest number. So this number is smaller than this number, is smaller than this number, smaller. It's increasing in this direction. The other thing about the thermometers is the number in the bulb tells you the length of a cycle that this bulb, this cell, is in the direction that the thermometer is pointing. So a few things there. Let's define for anyone who doesn't know what a cycle is. A cycle is a series of cells in a row or column that point to each other and that create a loop. So for example, if we have a 3 here, sorry, that's an awful example. If we have a 5 here, an 8 here, and a 3 here, this is a cycle of length 3. So if we start at any of these squares, let's start here. This square points us to the cell 3. In cell number 3, it points us to cell number 5, and cell number 5 has an 8 in it, which points us back to cell number 8. So there's a loop. They point to each other in a loop. This is a cycle of length 3. So a number in a bulb is in a cycle of length the number in the bulb in the direction that the thermometer is pointing. So if this has an X, then this X is part of a cycle of length X in a horizontal cycle. This one is in a cycle of length the number in the cell in a vertical cycle because the thermometer is pointing vertically. That's it. That's all that there is. The cycle rule set was invented by David, and he had the idea of combining them with thermometers, which was invented by somebody else. But he wasn't directly involved in the creation of this specific puzzle beyond that. So that's why he's not credited. Okay. There we go. All right. So let's just get into it. Let's just hop into it. Let's see. Okay. There's nothing given, so we should clear the puzzle, of course. What do we got going on here? No two bulbs can be in the same cycle because if they were, as we recall, if a number's in a bulb, it's involved in a cycle that is of length determined by the number in the bulb. If two numbers were in the same cycle, that cycle would have to have one length, but the bulb condition tells us that the length of the cycle that the number in the bulb is in is determined by that number, and two bulbs in the same row or column can't have the same number. So they can't be involved in the same cycle, because otherwise it would be a conflicting, so two bulbs in the same can't be part of the same cycle. So that gives us something. I'm tempted by this first row. There are just so many bulbs. What do it all mean? But I think that only is true for cycles for bulbs that have thermometers facing in the same direction, right? Because this guy can be part of a cycle, but part of a vertical cycle, and this cell can still be part of a horizontal cycle. So the thermometers have to be oriented in the same direction, right? Yeah, same direction thermometer bulbs can't be in the same cycle. Is it collaborative? Yeah, I welcome collaboration. Why not? Maybe gentle collaboration. I'll try to do a bit of it on my own, but okay, there's an optional hint that David gave me a little earlier, saying that there's a digit in row 1 that you can determine before doing anything else, but it's optional to do it that way. I'm tempted to do it that way, but I have to think of what could possibly get us there. Okay, this one is easier than the others, so I'll wait to call for hints. Okay. All right. So these two can't be part of the same cycle, so there's that. These numbers have to be increasing, and these numbers have to be increasing. This can't be a 1, and this can't be a 1. Because then it would be involved in a horizontal cycle of length 1. Which it can't be. Because then it would have to point to itself, and it doesn't. This can't be a 2, because this would be a cycle of length 1 if it was a 2. Because 2 would just point to itself. This can't be an 8, but this can't be an 8 anyway. So, okay, what can this be? Because this has to have two numbers that are greater than it, it can't be an 8 or a 9. It can't be a 1 or a 2. So maybe that's where I should try to start. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I guess. It can't be an 8 because it would point to this for the same reason that this can't be a 2, actually. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe let's do that. They can't both be 7. I mean, this could be a 1. Could this be... Is there a reason that this couldn't be anything else? I mean, I guess this can't be a 9. Because it would have to be less than some stuff. Oh, hold on. So the 9 can't be here, 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 or here. Because there has to be something bigger than the other things. So the 9 is like... here, here, or here. Right? So we've got that. Oh, and this, because this bulb also determines the vertical cycle, this can't be a 5 or a 7, right? This can't be a 5 or a 7, because it can't be in these two. So this is a 3, a 4, or a 6. Hold on, I think I like 12-headed this. Okay, so I was thinking... So we've got a lot of ambiguity about how, like, big these numbers can be. But the fact that these numbers can't start smaller than this, plus the fact that there are... Okay, check this shit out. Hold on. Let me think if this works. Okay, let me talk through my process. Okay, so this can't be a 2 or a 1. And it has to be increasing, so these two can't be a 2 or a 1. This can't be a 2 or a 1, and it has to be increasing. So the only place that like a 2 or a 1 can go is these squares, right? This could be a 1. Can it be a 2? It can't be a 2 because if it were in a vertical cycle and it were a 2, then it would point to here and this would point to a 1, but then the thermometer rule would not work. So this can't be a 2. That means that the same rule applies to this cycle, so the 2 needs to be here. Chat. Holy shit. That was fucking sick. Okay. Dude. Oh, that's so good. I hope that's right. And now we know that the 9 has to be here or here. So now the 1 could be here, but the 1 here can't be here. Okay, so the 1 can't be... If the 1 could be here, because that would be in a vertical cycle length 1, that's fine. The 1 can't be here. No, it's part of a vertical cycle. The 1 can be here. Never mind. There's a 1 either here or here. Let's maybe highlight these with like a light, with like a salmon color, to indicate that these guys, one of them is a 1. This is smaller than 9, 8, 7, 6. This has to be 5 or less, right? It can't be 1 because it can't belong to, well, A, it can't belong to a cycle that's of size this. And it can't share, like it can't be a 1. It can't be a 5. And it can't be a 7. So let's take out 1 and 5. So this is 2, 3, or 4. Is there maybe any reason that it couldn't be a 4? It can't be a 2 because then a horizontal cycle it wouldn't work, right? And it can't be, oh wait, have I messed up? Oh no, 3, it can be a 3 or a 4 because this can point elsewhere and the 2 could be somewhere else. Okay, so that's fine. I don't know. This has to be bigger than 3 for sure. And it has to be less than 9, 8, 7. It has to be 6 or smaller. So 4, 5, 6 is all this can be. Accordingly, this can be... This has to be 3, 4, 5. This has to be at least 5. And smaller than... So it's this 5, 6, 7. Right? And this is then 6, 7, 8. And this is 7, 8, 9. I hope I've done this properly. This can't be a 5. Because then that would point to 2, which would point back to here. So it can't be a 5, right? This can't be a 7. If it was a 7, then this would have to be 8, 9. But then 8 pointing to 7 would point back to 8, and that would be a 2 cycle, not a 7 cycle. Because you can't, these two can't, you can't have a 7 cycle and a 3 cycle that are both horizontal anyway. So I figured that out for opposite reasons. Yeah, okay. Yeah, different reason that it can't be a 7. No, fair play. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so the numbers in bulbs for thermometers that are aligned in a certain row or column can't add up to more than 9, which makes a lot of sense. That makes sense. Oh, well, to be this, if this is a 3, this can't be a 6. If the smallest number this can be is a 3, this can't be a 6 because then there wouldn't be anything left for this number. So this can't be a 6. Oh, wait, does it? Hold on. Okay, so because these can't be the same, these two square. Ah, okay, we found it. Okay. Right? I think we found it, right? Okay, I think we found it. So this and this are going to be a 3 and a 4, which means that between them, they cover 7 of the cells in this column, which belong to vertical cycles. The last one, the last 2 has to be a cycle of length 1, which can't happen. Like there can be no other cycle of length 1 because that would mean that there's a 1 in a, sorry. For this to be involved, okay, so this number can either be a 1 or a 2 because it has to be in a cycle and it has to dictate the length of that cycle. This can't be a 1 because a cycle of length 1 with a 1 in it can only happen in the first, in this case it would be the first row for a vertical cycle. So this has to be a 2. And if this is a cycle of length 2, then it must point at the thing which points at it. So this has to be a 7, right? So now this has to be a 5, for what it's worth. This has to be a 5, 6, 8, or 9. Because it can't be a 3 or a 4. It has to be bigger than a 2. And it can't be a 7. Okay. What more can we do now? Well, this can be, for what it's worth, a 5, 6, 8, or that's it. And this can be a 6, 8, or 9. Which means that the 1 is either here or here. Okay, we're going to continue to use this salmon color to mean that either this or this is a 1, either this or this is a 1. Oh, hold on. Maybe it is the horizontal cycle that this thing is involved in. Okay, check it out. If this was a 3, it would point to this, which would then point to this, this, or this, and none of those can point back to 3. Oh, okay. All right. This is a 4, right? Right? Which means this is a 3. And if this is a 3, then this can be either a 6 or a 9, but it's definitely not an 8. Nice. And so this can't be, this has to be at least 4 now. This has to be at least, or sorry, 5, 6. So all of these, the lower bounds go up. Okay, 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 okay. All right, okay, very good. Okay, so now that we've got this 3 here, this also implies we've got this horizontal thing happening. So 3 points to here, and then points to somewhere else, which points to 2. Ah, okay, so it's a member of a so 2 points to 2, points to 3, and this has to point here, so this has to be a 5. Because that's the only way to get this 3 cycle going, right? I suppose we could highlight the cycles. I don't know if we should do that or not yet. I have to think about it. Ooh, I might have just found something. If this is... Okay, so this 4 cycle... Oh, hold on, no. If this is... Okay, this vertical cycle here... here... This guy points to here, and it can't point back to itself, so this can't be a 5. So this points to either 6 or 8. I don't think there's much more that I can go off of. If this is at least a 6, this can't be a 6, so this has to be a 9. Wow, did we already get there? That's crazy. So this has to be a 9, because it can't be a 6. Because if this is a 6, that's the smallest that can be. So now we've got the 3, 9, which means that this definitely has to be a 1. Oops, I definitely meant 1. So let's not highlight these anymore. Which is Pog Champion. Now do we have... Okay, so now it might be worth highlighting the cycles. So there's this cycle, there's 2, 7 is a cycle. So 2 and 7... Oh, I hate that the default highlighting color is a color that I've used. So let's make these like lavender or something. Okay. So now these 4 have to be part of a cycle, right? So they can't point at stuff that's outside of the cycle. And this can't point at itself because it's part of a cycle that's greater than length 1. So this can't be 8 or 9. It's got to be 5 or 6. Could this be a 5? I mean, it's a 5, 6, or 8. But, okay, so if this is a 5, we could have 4, 8, 6, 5. That checks out. Can it be a 6? It can't be a 6, because that would point to itself. Can it be an 8? 4, 6, 8, 5? Yes. Okay, so there we go. That's what we got going on there. Okay, lots of progress. Lots of progress. Fantastic. Of course. Okay, just regular Sudoku. This can't be a 5 because of this 5. And so this must be a 6, which means this must be a 7, 8, 9. Wow, so much progress here. That's crazy. This can't be a 9. That means that this 9's got to be here. Sick. Okay, this can't be a 3. Got to be a 4 or a 6. A 6, we can have 7, 8, so that's fine. This is 4. We've got more options, so that's fine. Okay, well, okay. For what it's worth, this can't be a 5. It could be a 6 if this is a 4, or a 7, or an 8. This can be a 7 or an 8 and nothing else. This can't be a 9. It has to be bigger than the smallest number this can be. Oh, via regular Sudoku. I forgot about this. No, too many rules. I've got like variant tunnel vision. Okay, this 6 here meant this can be a 6 and then we finished the whole thing. Okay. Of course. All right, thanks, chat. I always do these at the end of the stream. I don't know why. I'm always so brain dead. Okay. All right, fantastic, fantastic. We'll leave these unmarked. Unmarked will be... Because I don't want too much visual busyness. That's fine, okay. Okay. All right, okay. Let's think. Where do other cycles interact? Well, okay, so maybe 4... Okay, so let's color the horizontal cycle, the 3 cycle here. Boom, 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 right? Like that. This could be a 1. What could this be? This could be a 1. It can't be a 2 or a 3. It could be a 4. It can't be a 5. It could be a 6. Or it could be an 8. Right? I think. It can't be an 8 because this would have to be a 9. So it can't be an 8. Because of the thermometer rule. Let's look at this. This has to be smaller than this. And it can't be any of these. So let's start with everything that it could be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It can't be 3, 5, 7, 9, or 6. Just because of the 4 numbers that just regular Sudoku it. It could be an 8 because then this could be a 9. That's not a big problem, but it has to be part of a it has to be part of a vertical cycle as well. It can't be a 1. Because it would have to be part of a 1 cycle. This can't be a 2 because then it would have to be a cycle of length 2, which would mean that this would have to be a 3, but there's already a 3 here, so it can't be a 2. It's either 4 and 8. Which means that this, by the way, can't be a 1, a 2, or a 3, or a 4. It would have to be a 5, 6. So this is a 7 or a 9. Which gives us a little something, right? So let's think about what this could be. This could be a 1. It can't be a 2, 3. It can't be an... Okay, so... Let's just fill this all in first. It can't be 2, 3, 5, 9. It can't be an 8. It could be an 8. It can't be an 8 because this can't be a 1. Right? Because this... Like, then this would have to be a member... If this was a 1, it would have to be a member of a 1 cycle, which would mean that it would have to be... But it would have to point to itself to be a member of a 1 cycle, so this can't be a 1. Which means this can't be an 8. Alright, okay. What can this be? Okay, so... Let's just... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This guy can't be any of these dudes. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. It can't be a 1, because then it would be a member of a 1 cycle. So we're down to 2, 3, or 5, huh? It can't be a 5, because then it would point back to itself. Crucially. Whoa, okay. These are involved in a cycle. So the last, whatever the one that isn't these is, that square, it has to have a 2 in it. Because it has to finish the cycle. It can't be this guy. Because then this would have to be a 9. So the 2 can't be here. The 2 can't be here because then 8 would have to be in the cycle. The 2 can't be here because it would have to be a 3 cycle. So this is a 2. Right? Which means this is a 3? Question mark? Did we get that? I hope we got that. 2, 4, 7 blank. And now we know that this is a 1. And then we've got a full cycle here. Hold on, is this not part of it? Yeah, okay. Maybe let's color this. This color. Hell yeah, okay, fantastic. That's awesome. Which means this is whatever other number is here. I don't know. What is that, 5? All right, cool. Okay, progress. Woo! All right. Fantastic. Well, we've restricted this further. Maybe it's worth writing out what this could be. So it can't be a 1 because it has to be bigger than this. It can't be a 2, a 3. It can't be a 5, 7, or a 9. So this is either 4, 6, or 8. Which is something. That's something, right? What about what we need in here? We need like one of these 3 has to be a 1. What else we need? 1, 1, 3, 7, 9, right? 1, 3, 7, 9. Oh, okay. I mean, that's worth doing this. Maybe. If there are like 2 1 cycles here, or a 2 cycle, then we automatically know this isn't an 8. So I'm keeping an eye out for that. One question. Where can a 5 go in column 9? What can you do with that info? Well, let's figure it out. Where can a 5 go in column 9? Well, okay, so I immediately see that we can determine the cycle. Because this is the 5 and it's a cycle of length 3. So the square where the 5 is, that number row is where is what this will be, if that makes sense. So let's figure out where a 5 can go. So a 5 can't go here or here because there's a 5 here. So a 5 could go in any of these places, probably. And a 5 could go here, I guess, maybe. So then this would be like a 2. A 5 can't go here because it would point to this and it would be a 2 cycle. But I think a 5 can go in any of these squares, can't it? Am I wrong about that? I think a 5 can go in any of those squares. 2, 7, 8, 9. In that cell. Oh, great point. Yeah, okay. So a 5 would have to go in one of these squares. Oh, wow, that's brilliant. I definitely wouldn't have gotten there myself. Okay. These are the only place a 5 can go, which means that in this location to complete the 3 cycle, this square can only point to one of these places. So 2, 7, 8, 9. And indeed, it can't be a 9 because of this over here. That was dope. That was super cool. Wow. I really like that. Might be worth looking at. Like, this has to be greater than a 3. So it can be a 4. It can't be a 5. It could be a 6. It could be a 7. It can't be an 8. And it can be a 9. Can't be an 8 because of this. Ah, yes. This can't be a 7 because then you'd have a 3 cycle and a 7 cycle, but there aren't enough cells to do that. This is definitely not a 7. What else do we have? These squares are pretty restricted. Well, not that restricted. But this can only have 4. So start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In this square, there's 3, 5, 7, 9. And there's a 2 in this row. So maybe that helps like a tiny bit for later. And then we can do the same thing here, right? So 3, 5, 7, 9, 6. Okay. All right. Okay, if this was a 6, then it would point to here. This can only be 7 or 8. So it couldn't be an 8, so it would have to be a 7. So it would point here. Aha! Okay! Ha! Hold on. So if this is a 6, it would point to here. So then if this was a 6, then we'd have to have 6, 7, 8. But then 8 would point back here. That would be a 2 cycle, which means this can't be a 6. Which means this has to be a 4. Hell yeah, dog. Boom. Is that the right conclusion? I think that's the right conclusion. So 4 points to 9 points to this. Well, this can't be a 4 now, right? 4, 9, boom. And if this was a 1, then this would have to be an 8, which it can't be. So this has to be a 6. And this has to be an 8. Which means that this is a 7. And this is a 1. Hope I did that right. Okay, dope. Hope I did that right. This can't be a 6 now. These can't be a 1 now. And neither can this. This is a 1 cycle. This is a 6 cycle. Okay. Damn. So this 3 cycle is like this. One of these. So one of these contains a 5. This can't contain a 5 because it has to be a 7 or an 8 or a 9, by the way. So this has to be, because of the thermometer rule, so this has to be 7, 8, or 9. It can't be a 7, so it's an 8 or a 9, which I assume that it can be. But this guy, one of these has to be a 5. To point to this guy. Which means this can't be a 2 either, by the way. This is a 7 or an 8. And the cycle is this, one of these, and this. Whew, okay. So, I mean, everything in this column is in a cycle. It's either in the 3 cycle or in the 6 cycle, if that's what you're asking. Oh, I guess that means this can't be a 4, because then it would be part of a 1 cycle. Ah, I see. Sick. 7, 8, and 9 occupy these 3. Right. Which means that the other 4 numbers are located here. So these numbers can only be 1, 2, 4, 6. Sorry, 5? The numbers that aren't these numbers. This can't be a 1 or a 5. This can't be a 2. This can't be a 1. A 5 is either here or here. So this can't be a 5. So we've got a 2-4 pair here. Which means that these can't be 2 or 4. So I have a 1-5 pair here. So the other one of these is a 5. Whichever one isn't. And these two are like a 2-4 pair. I hope I did that right. Okay, we can bring this down to 4 options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It can't be a 2, 7, 8, 9 because of these. And it can't be a 1 because it has to be bigger than this thing. So that's something. Which means that this thing can't be an 8 or a 9. I guess. Okay, so by normal Sudoku, this can't be a 1, a 4, a 6, or a 7. And it also can't be an 8 or a 9 because then this couldn't be bigger than it. So this is a 2, 3, or a 5. And now we've got some restriction on a bulb, and bulb restrictions are strong if the number in them is small. Wait, this is the only place that a 2 can exist here. By normal Sudoku rules, basically. So this is a 2, right? How long has it taken me to... Because a 2 can't be here, and we know that a 2 can't be... So this has to be a 2, right? We know this is a 4 and 8. So this can't be a 2. God, how long has that been there? Fuck. Because this has to be at least 3. This can't be a 3. Progress, progress, progress. 1 in box 4. Okay. Right. This is the only place that a 1 can be in this box. So we should put it there. Alright, okay. Okay, we finally found... Right. Okay, that 1 right there gave us a 3 cycle, and if a 3 cycle exists in this column, this can't be an 8 because we can't also have an 8 cycle. This is a 4. Wow. That's crazy. This is a 4, then this is a 6-8 pair. So this can be, because it's part of this horizontal cycle. Okay, so it can't be a 1, a 2, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 9, because something has to be bigger than it. It can't be an 8 because the only thing bigger than an 8 would be a 9. So it can be a 3 or a 7. It's part of a horizontal cycle. It can't be a 3 because then it would be a horizontal cycle of length 3 or of length 1, and it has to be okay. So this is a 7. So we got a big ass cycle here, which is dope. So this is a 7. It can't be a 7. It can be a 7. Okay, cool. Okay, that means that this is a 9, right? Which means that this is a 3-7 pair. I think. Okay, we're getting there. This has to be an 8 because it can't be a 9. And it has to be bigger than a 7. Oops. Okay. So we have the 1, 2, 6, 8, 3, 7, which means that here is the 5, 9, 4. Which means that this is a pair, which we also could have determined from this. Anyway. Which is 8, 3? 3, 8 pair. So let's check this again. 4, 9. If this was a 3, it would be a 3 cycle. So this must be an 8. Which means this must be a 3. So 8, 3, 4, 9. This is the 4 cycle. We have satisfied the 4 cycle conditions. Which is dope. Okay. 9 here means that this is a 7. All right, and that'll give us a decent amount, right? Because this is an 8. Oops. No. Yes, this is an 8 because it's a 7 or an 8. That means it's a 9. So now 3, 8. This is a 3 cycle, so this is a 5, which means this is a 1. Wow, so now this 6 cycle goes 6. This 1 has to be involved, which means the 7 has to be involved. What else has to be involved? There has to be a 4. So if this was a 2, we would have 6, 9. Sorry, okay, so 6. If this was a 4, it would be 7, 1, 6, 4, 7, 1. That wouldn't work. So this has to be a 2 and this has to be a 4. Right? Which means this isn't a 4. Which means that this is a 4. One of these. I think that's worked. Okay. That probably gives us a lot, right? Yeah. Okay, this is a 6 because of this 8. This is an 8. Don't have any other cycles here though. 3, 7, 4, 5, 9. Oh, this can't be a 5. Is this? So we've got, these are 5s. There's a 7 cycle in this row, horizontal, which is what this 7 gives us. Now, we know that there's a 1 cycle, which means there has to be one other 1 cycle. So question is, where can the 1 cycle be? So it's already here, so that's not what we're talking about. It can't be here. This isn't a 1 cycle, this isn't a 1 cycle, and this isn't a 1 cycle. This can't be a 1 cycle because there can't be a 1 here. This can't have an 8 in it. This can't have a 7 in it. So either this is a 5 or this is a 6, if I'm not mistaken. Like, okay, let's just do, like, one of these is a 1 cycle. One of these is a 1 cycle. Let's do that. This can't be a 9. Because then it would be a 2 cycle. It can't be. Which is sick. So this isn't a 9, which means one of these is a 9. Okay, so we've got the full... Alright. Okay. Just cleaner this way. Let's do... This is the last bulb that we haven't done anything with. That's a lie. We also haven't done anything with this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this can't be a 1, a 2, a 3, a 5, or a 7, just by regular Sudoku rules. It can't be a 9 because there has to be something bigger than it here. So this is a 4, 6, or an 8. Right? There's no vertical cycle that we can really depend on here. This is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This can't be a 1. It can't be a 4. It can't be an 8. And it can't be a 9. It can't be a 7. It can be a 7. Well, that's really all that we get from that. That sucks. It is in position 6. Ah, right. Okay. This can't be a 6 because it would be part of a 1 cycle. So we got another, either a 4 or an 8. So if we can find at least a 2 cycle or 2 1 cycles, then we know that it's not an 8. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. This one also can't be a 6 for the same reason. Let's see. Now this is in position 6. So is there a... There are no like monocycles. This can't be a 2 because there's something that isn't a 6 in the 2 slot. So it can't be a 2. If this were a 3, then this would have to be 3, 8, and this would have to be a 6. It's possible for that to happen, so this could be a 3. Oh, if this were a 7, then we'd have to have 8, 9, and there's an 8 here. So this can't be a 7. So it's a 3 or a 5. Solid. Like one of these is a 1 just by regular Sudoku. What else do we need? A 2, 3, 5. Like one of these is a 5, for example. One of these is a 2, right? So if this were a 3, then we would have 8, and then this would be a 6. But if this were a 3 and this were a 6, then this would have to be a 4 or a 5, which it can't be. So this is a 5. That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow, okay. So then this would have to be a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9, but it can't be a 7 or an 8. So it's either 6 or 9, and it can't be a 9 because something would have to be bigger than it here. So this is definitely a 6. So then this is either a 7 or a 9 because it can't be an 8 because of this right here, which is pretty good. That 5 sees the black cells. Ah, yes. Okay. So there can't be... This can't be the one that's a 1 cycle, so this has to be the one that's a 1 cycle. So this would have to be a 6. Very, very, very nice. This can't be a 6 now. For what it's worth. No 6 here or here, so there's a 6 here or here. Ah! 6 here or here. There's a 2 here or here. And there can't be a 2, because there has to be a 2 in this row for Sudoku rules. Can't be a 2 here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here, obviously. There can't be a 2 here, and there can't be a 2 here because of the thermometer rules, so there's a 2 here. So that gives us a 2 here by regular Sudoku. That's pretty good. This has to be a 3 because this is a 5 or a 9. Or a 4, a 5, or a 9. And this is a 7 or a 9. So the only place that we could have a 3 at the bottom is this guy. Right? Yeah, like this 5 eliminates this guy, basically. Right? So this is a 9. Which means this is a 5, which means this is a 4. Which probably cracks open a lot. So that's a 7. Okay. Cool, cool. Sounds good. This 5 similarly is also here. That makes this a 4. And if this is a 4, then this is a 3. Which means this is a 5, which means this is a 2, which means this is a 1. Oh, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. Okay, let's see. 3 or 7. This 7 here means that there's a 3 and this is a 7. Now we can probably 3, 3. This is a 3. Oops. I didn't mean that. I meant 3, 3. Oh, no. One of these is a 3. My bad. I messed up. 3, 3 here. 4. We need one of these is a 3. And if this is a 3, then this is a 3. Okay. So now what do we have here? We need a 4. So that 4 goes here. And we need a 9, which means a 9 goes here. Right? I think, okay. Now, 4, 4. Okay, well, there's a 4 in one of these. What else do we look at? Maybe here. Okay, what do we need here? We need a 2, which means this is where the 2 is because of this 2. And that puts a 8 here. That means that an 8 is here because of this 8 and this 8, which is great. So there's a vertical 8 cycle, which is awesome. We didn't need that, but that's fine. This is a 4 now. Oh yeah, this is the 1 cycle that complements the vertical 8 cycle, so that's cool. So now in here we need a 6 and a 9. So 9 here because of this 9, which means this is a 6. Now we can do... this isn't a 4, so a 4 has to go boom, boom. This is a 4, and this is a 3. Now this is a 6. And what do we need here? A 1 and a 7? Actually, we can't solve that right now. I don't think. What do we need here? We need a 1 and a... And really? 5, 5 here. Okay, what do we need here? We need a 1, a 7, and a 9. So this is the 9, which means this is the 7 and this is the 1. So 7, 7, 7. So this is a 7. This needs a 1 and a 5. 1, 1, 1. 5, 5, 5, 6. 3. There we go. Okay. All right. We got there. Okay. Fantastic. Hour 25 with heavy to moderate help. Mazel tov. Cheers. Okay. This was a good one. This was a good one. My brain was a little fried in places, but I really enjoyed the logic that came along with cycles plus thermometers was really good. Cycle plus thermometer was really good. I think this one is a 3 out of 5 difficulty. Wow, that's not too bad. Considering we got a little bit of help and I wasn't the spryest, you know, because it was like late for a stream where I was already brain dead. But this is a great puzzle. Wow, okay, there will be a link in the description for anyone who wants to play, by the way. Wow. That's fantastic. Thanks so much for bringing this to us, David.